Very good morning. Welcome to the today's class. In the previous class, we were learned about the advent of Europe to India. Regarding the previous lesson, we learned how Europeans entered to India and also discussed and learned about how British clear their basis in their India, in India. And also, in the previous class, we discussed about regarding Carnatic Wars, 3 Carnatic Wars, and Plassey battle and Buxar battle. After all these battles, British wanted to extension the British rule in India. Today we are going to learn the topic is the extension of the British rule. In this unit we are going to learn some important factors. The one is Anglo-Maratha Wars. The second important factor is the consolidation of the British power. The third point, no succession rights for the adopted children. And the next point is subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse and Anglo-Sikh wars. These are the important points we are going to discuss today. Okay. Through Carnatic Wars, the English had made other European countries not to challenge them in India. They gave complete political control over Bengal through Plassey and Buxar battles. By 1765, they had gained control most of the eastern part of India. Since the Marathas and the Mysore states were dominant in southern and western part of India, the hold of British was restricted to Bengal and Bombay regions only. Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan of Mysore, along with the Peshwas of Maratha, were the only impediments in the path of expansion for the British. The others were 6 in the northwestern region. You heard about Ranjit Singh already in the previous classes. Ranjit Singh, who emerged in the latter part of 19th century, was a formidable opponent to the British. Who was the formidable opponent to the British during 19th century? Yes, very good. Ranjit Singh. Ranjit Singh was a successful in organizing the Sikhs. Yes, the British also waged repeated wars from the mid of 18th century to mid of 19th century to extend their empire in India. Apart from this, they also annexed various kingdoms with the cunning policies like subsidiary alliance, doctrine of lapse. During this period, the British waged some important battles. They were 3 Anglo-Maratha wars, 4 Anglo-Mysore wars, and 2 Anglo-Sikh wars. Now we are going to learn about First Anglo-Maratha War. It was started in 1775 to 1782. Okay, let us discuss what were all the causes for First Anglo-Maratha War. The first cause or reason was the Marathas instilled Shah Alam II. Who was that Shah Alam II? Yes, he was a Mughal Empire. We read in the previous class, in the Buxar battle. During the Buxar battle, he was defeated by the British. After that, the Marathas instilled the Shah Alam II back on the throne of Mughal Empire in where? Delhi. Very good. Shah Alam II was under the care British after the defeat in Buxar War. Now, the emperor gave Kora and Allahabad to Marathas. Already, these two places had earlier given to the British. This resulted in the enmity between the Marathas and British. Very good. The second reason was during this period, the death of Marathas strong man who was none other than Madhav Rao Peshwa was died. That was the incident, was a major setback to the Marathas because he was a very courageous Peshwa ruler in the Marathas. Two, his brother Narayan Rao came to the power, and also he was murdered by his uncle Raghoba. Yes, the another name of Raghoba was Raghunatha Rao. Yes, Raghunatha Rao. This resulted in the fighting for the Peshwa post. Reasons. What were all the reasons? We discussed. We are going to discuss the Marathas. Some other reasons for First Anglo-Maratha War was the Marathas Federation brought. What did they brought? They brought Madhav Rao II of Narayan Rao. He was the son of Madhav Rao, Narayan Rao, to the post of Peshwa. Upset with this development, Raghoba, Raghunath Rao, the name of Raghoba is Raghunath Rao, approached the British for his support. The British thought exploiting this situation in their favor. A long war was waged from 1775 to 1782 between the Marathas and the British. Initially, through Marathas gained upper hand. But finally, Marathas were defeated by the British. Okay, let us discuss what were all the effects of First Anglo-Maratha War. Later, they had to lose Allahabad to the British. The Maratha Federation unable to sustain the war with the British. British finally entered the agreement, that is Salbai Agreement. Yes, the first Anglo-Maratha war ended with Salbai Agreement. Madhav Rao II was named as the Peshwa. After the first Anglo-Maratha war, one who was a hero of British, like Governor General of British East India Company, who arrived to India, he wanted to implemented his own policies because he wanted to extend the rule of British, power of British. Yes, the Lord Wellesley, the Governor General of British East India Company, he wanted to expansion the British Empire, and he took in a larger pace after the arrival of Lord Wellesley as the Governor General of India. By this time, the powerful states of Marathas and Mysore had became weak, and the expansion was easier. Lord Wellesley followed three policies. What were they? Why were they implemented their policies? Because to expand the British Empire in India. What were those policies? What were those three policies? They were subsidiary alliance. The second one is waging war against new states. The third policy was administrating the states directly that were under the control of the British. Yes. Subsidiary alliance. Okay, let us discuss about subsidiary alliance now. The Lord Wellesley brought this policy. When did he brought this policy? In 1798. To bring the Indian states under the control of the British. This was basically military protection agreement. This was the military protection agreement in between the East India Company and Indian state. Okay, let us discuss what were all the conditions of subsidiary alliance. Number one, the Indian king had to keep the British army in his kingdom. The first condition. What was that first condition? The Indian king had keep the British army in his kingdom. The second condition, the British in a subsidiary alliance, the concerned state had to bear the expenses of the army and the wages of soldiers, and also had to give a certain revenue lands as well. The third condition of subsidiary alliance, the king has to have a British resident in his court. The fourth condition of the subsidiary alliance was the king could not appoint any European without other Europeans without permission of the British. The fifth condition of subsidiary alliance, in order to entry any agreement or pact with any Indian government, the permission of the Governor General was mandatory. In order to enter any agreement or pact with any Indian government, the permission of the Governor General was mandatory. The sixth condition of the subsidiary alliance was, in return all of these services, the company would offer protection to the state from any internal or external aggression. Okay. So what were all the effects of subsidiary alliance policy? The British could place Indian state under their control through this policy. The maintenance of the army became easy. The Indian states were subjected to severe economic exploitation. The Hyderabad state was the first state to enter this agreement. Yes, note down this point, my dear students. In many previous examination, asked the question, the important question, who was signed the subsidiary alliance first? Yes, Hyderabad state was the first to enter the agreement, enter this agreement. After that, many states like Mysore also agreement with subsidiary alliance, and Oudh, Tanjavur, Marathas of Pune, Virar, Arcot, Gwalior and other states entered this agreement. After Second Anglo-Maratha, okay, this was happened in 1803 to 1805. The Second Anglo-Maratha was started in 1803 to 1805. Yes, okay. What are all the reasons or causes for the first Anglo-Maratha war? Yes, the first is the differences among the chieftains was the reason for this war. Yes. Okay. What was the main reason for the first Anglo-Maratha war? Yes, the differences among the Maratha chieftains. This was the main reason. An enemy, who were the Maratha chieftains? Yes, an enmity broke out between the Yashwantrao of Holkar, Daulatrao of Sindhya and Peshwe Balaji Rao II. In 1802, the army of Holkar defeated the army of Sindhya and the Peshwa. The Peshwa appealed for the help of the British. This was the weakness of our Indian kings. The Lord Wellesley finally got an opportunity to meddle with the affairs of Marathas. The Peshwa entered the subsidiary alliance system by accepting the treaty of Bessin. But other Maratha families like Holkar, Bhonsle, Gwalior formed an alliance. Why? Because to opposing this treaty, which treaty? Subsidiary alliance treaty. Yes. Lord Wellesley defeated the armies of various Maratha families from 1803 to 1805. What was the effects of Second Anglo-Maratha War was discussed. Increased the financial burden of the company. Second, Lord Wellesley resigned from his post and returned to England. This resulted in peace in the region temporarily. Okay. After some changed Okay, let us learn about Third Anglo-Maratha War. The Third Anglo-Maratha War was started in 1817 to 1818. Yes. What were all the reasons for the Third Anglo-Maratha War was going to discuss now. The Marathas families tried their best to protect their independence and their honor. Even the Peshwa attempted to free himself from the clutches of the British East India. Okay? The Peshwa attacked the British residency in Pune and burned it down. Appa Sahib of Nagpur and Mailari Rao of Olkar rebelled against the British and were suppressed ruthlessly. Finally, Peshwa Bajirao II fought against the British at Korengaon. Asti, later they surrendered to the British. Okay, what are all the effects of Third Anglo-Maratha War? The British abolished the Peshwa post. Then British granted a pension to Bajirao II. They installed Pratap Simha, not our Mysore MP. Pratap Simha was the descendant of Shivaji as the ruler of Satara, a minuscule state, and named him as the traditional leader of Marathas and suppressed the Marathas' resistance. Then British started the consolidation of the British power in India. The British completed their agenda of ruling the entire India from 1818 to 1857 till Sipahi Mutiny. They occupied major states like Sindh, Oudh, and many other smaller states. After that, the Anglo-Six wars were started. The results of Anglo-Six wars were discussed. The first reason, a political anarchy broke out in Punjab after the death of the King Ranjit Singh in 1839. The British attempted to invade Punjab, violating the continuous friendship pact they had with erstwhile king. In December 1845, a war broke out between the British and Punjab. Sensing the danger from an outside force, Hindus, Sikhs, and Muslims got together to defeat the British. Finally, they had to accept defeat due to few traitor Indian leaders. Then, what were the effects of Anglo-Six wars? Six were losers in battle. They signed a humiliating Lahore Agreement in 1846, with the British resident became the de facto ruler of Punjab. Like this, Punjab became the dependent state of East India Company. Okay. Merge of Punjab in British Empire. The Sikh opposed the attempts by the British to rule Punjab directly. The opposition were led by Chattari Singh Athariwala in Lahore, Mulraj in Multan. Again, the people of Punjab were defeated. Finally, Lord Dalhousie merged the states of Punjab with the British Empire. How the Lord Dalhousie merged the Punjab in the British Empire? What were all the policies he implemented to merge the Punjab in British Empire? Let us discuss. Yes. Before that, who was Dalhousie? Who was Lord Dalhousie? Yes, he was Governor General of British East India Company. He was arrived in India and in 1848 he made an attempt to integrate Indian princely states with the British Empire. He adopted a doctrine of lapse policy whereby the adopted children of Indian kings were refused of their right to throne. According to this policy, if any Indian ruler dies, without children, their adopted children had no legal right over the throne. Yes, once again, if any Indian ruler dies without children, their adopted children had no legal rights over the throne. And such state gets merged with the Punjab, merged with the British Empire. These two are the conditions of the doctrine of lapse policy. After merged the Punjab, the many states were also merged, like Satara, Jaipur, Jhansi, Sambalpur, Udaipur, Nagpur. These all states were merged with the British Empire because these states have the kings did not have their children after their deaths. So these states were merged with the British Empire with the policy of doctrine of lapse. As the Governor General knew the conditions of these states, he used the policy as a political weapon, like a subsidiary alliance. British officers, British East India Company, not use any bombs as a weapon, not any AK-47. They used subsidiary alliance, doctrine of lapse, like these type of weapons they use as a political weapon. Okay, let us discuss what were all the effects of doctrine of lapse policy. With the severe implementation of this policy, not only the princely families, even ordinary people who sympathetic to these kings rebel against the company. Their love for their kings and the sense of loyalty fueled with rebellion further. This finally resulted in the Sipahi Mutiny of 1857. Okay, this was what happened up to 1857. The British extended their empire and extended their power in India. Now let us recall all the learning points through asking some questions now. Ramesh, Suresh, Halish and other students, please silence, keep quietly. Please, if you have know the answer, please raise your hands. Don't give any mass answer. Okay? Okay, let us ask some questions regarding this lesson. Okay, who was implemented subsidiary alliance? Come on, stand up, Ramesh. Yes, come on, stand up, Ramesh, you. Yes, Lord Wellesley. Very good, sit down. Okay, Ramesh, you, stand up. Who was implemented the policy doctrine of lapse? Come on, yes, Alesh. Yes, very good. Lord Dalhousie. Yes, okay. Then, one more question I am going to ask. Which are the cunning policies of British? Anybody in the class? Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good, very good. Yes, you, Madhu. Come on. Come on, stand up. Yes. Very good. Subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse. Okay. Okay, then you, Suresh. Okay, what are the effects of subsidiary alliance? Yes, the British could place Indian state under their control through this policy, and the maintenance of the army became easy. The next point. Yes. Yes, very good. The Indian states were subjected to severe economic exploitation. Okay, next. The Hyderabad state was the first state to enter this agreement. Very good. Okay. These are the important questions regarding this lesson. Now, I am going to recall all the important facts, record the important points. Now, I am going to ask you whether you have any doubts. Please come on and stand up without hesitate. Ask about doubts. Okay. Anybody in the class? Yes. You want to ask once again subsidiary alliance? Okay. Very nice. I will tell you. Okay. Subsidiary alliance. So Ramesh having a doubt about policy of subsidiary alliance. Okay. Okay. Suresh, come on. Let me ask you. Who implemented the subsidiary alliance? Very good. Lord Wellesley. Very good. Very good. Okay. Now, subsidiary alliance. Mr. My friend student want to ask doubt about the subsidiary alliance. You wanted to one more time to know about subsidiary alliance. Yes. Lord Wellesley brought this policy change. This policy was effected in 1798 AD in order to bring the Indian states under control. This was basically a military protection agreement between the East India Company and Indian kingdoms. Now, come to the point. Your doubt is what were the conditions of the subsidiary alliance. Okay. Now, the first condition of the subsidiary alliance was the Indian king had to keep the British army in his kingdom. The second condition, the concerned state had bear the expenses of the army and the wages of soldiers, and also had to give certain revenue lands as well. The third condition, the king has to have a British resident in his court. The fourth is, the king could not appoint any other European without permission of the British. The fifth condition is, in order to enter any agreement or pact with any Indian government, the permission of the Governor General was mandatory. The sixth is, in return of all these services, the company would offer protection to the state from any internal and external aggression. Yes. What were all the effects of subsidiary alliance? Let's discuss one more time. The British could place Indian state under their control through this policy. Then the maintenance of the army became easy. The Indian states were subjected to severe economic exploitation, and Hyderabad state was the first state to enter this agreement. After enter the agreement of Hyderabad, later many states like Mysore, Oudh, Tanjavur, Marathas of Pune, Virar, Arcot, Gwalior, and other states entered the subsidiary alliance agreement. Okay, this was the regarding about doubt about subsidiary alliance. Okay, now anybody wants to having a doubt till regarding this topic? Yes, anyone? Okay, you want to ask doctrine of lapse? Yes, doctrine of lapse. Okay, this doctrine of lapse was introduced by Lord Dalhousie. Who was he? He was a Governor General of British East India Company. When did he made this policy? He made this policy in 1848, and he made an attempt to integrate Indian princely states with the British Empire. So he adopted a doctrine of policy. According to this policy, if any Indian ruler without children, the adopted children had no legal rights over the throne. This was the major condition of this policy. And such states gets merged with the British East India Company. Okay? After that, after the Punjab merged with the British East India Company, under this policy, the many princely states were merged with the British Company, like princely states like Satara, Jaipur, Sambalpur, Udaipur, Jhansi, Nagpur. These are the important states. Princely states were joined the British Empire. Okay, I think I would trust you, I would believe you, and confidence on you. You have understood all the learning items of this topic. Okay, thank you my dear students, thank you one and all. Please cooperate in the future classes. Thank you.